Professor of Innovation at INSEAD. Good afternoon, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Good afternoon.
So please can you tell me how important it is to be innovative in business today?
Innovation is critical when the world is changing. So if someone lives in a world that's not changing, we don't need to do anything differently. But all of us live in a world that's full of change and complexity, which means we have to get new ideas to create new value.
I read your background and you said something about questioning philosophy. So how important is it to question things around you, to have a creative edge?
The reason people, young and old, are stuck on problems that they can't solve is they're asking the wrong question. And so if I want to get a new solution, I have to ask a different question. The problem is, most children grow up in school systems that crush their questions. I don't know what it's like in Nigeria, but in the US, the average student asks one question per month during an hour-long class in school, which means they're literally losing their questions. But we know from our research that asking new and different questions is critical to getting a new idea.
So how do you think you facilitate a leader's leadership in a company?
The leaders that we studied 100 of the best leaders in the world. Some of them were from this region. They engaged in behaviors that enabled them to get new ideas. So they asked lots of questions. They were very good at watching and observing the world. They excelled at talking to different people to get new perspectives. They were willing to try new things, and they didn't look at failure as failure. It's a way to figure out a better solution. And so when leaders behave that way, they're paying attention not only to new ideas for their business, but they also usually pay attention to their people. And the same skills that help them get a new product or business idea can also help them get a new way of understanding the people who work for them and help them become engaged with getting new ideas.
So apart from questioning, what other skills should a leader possess to have that creative edge?
They're really skills. And so these are things that we can learn. These are not things we're just born with. We can learn how to become better observers. It's like an anthropologist watching the world. We can learn how to carry on better conversations with people who aren't like us. We can learn how to just try different things, experiment with things. And those are the behaviors that really matter. And if we observe and network and experiment and we just ask different questions, then we can connect the unconnected when we have to get a new idea. We can think association there creatively. We can put things together in ways that no one else has ever done before.
I must say it has been great hearing these innovative ideas and these innovative motivations, if I must say. But there are lots of challenges, economic challenges, financial challenges. So in the midst of all this, how do we keep a happy face, a bright mind, an excited mindset, and go forward and think innovatively and act innovatively?
I mean, I do not live in Africa nor in Nigeria, but I understand, I think, what you're talking about, which is there are challenges that are real. It feels like they will not go away. And so my answer to that would be, these skills can give anyone hope in a hopeless situation. I don't care if it's a child in a very difficult family situation, or a teacher in a school setting, or a government official wrestling to try to change something, or a corporate or an entrepreneur trying to build something. They all face barriers. And these skills we're talking about are the ones any of us can use to feel like we have more control and can influence that world. And in fact, they are the skills that let us change that world, even if it's a small amount. But a lot of people making that kind of small change collectively can make a big difference.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Project Forte 24?
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, most children, when they're 4 years old, they ask 1,000 questions every day. And to adults, it's annoying. But what my hope and dream is that the 1.85 billion children on the face of this earth between the ages of 1 and 14 years old, that they can keep their questions alive. And so the 424 Project is about how we as adults can be asking better questions so that our children around us will ask questions differently and better as well. And it might be a simple activity like, next time we're struggling with something, next time we're facing a challenge, get a piece of paper, write down nothing but questions about your problem. I've done this day in and day out myself about personal issues, professional issues, and what I've discovered is writing those questions down helps me think differently about the problem. And surprisingly, it also helps me feel better about the situation. And I then can do something about it. And so it's literally spending at least 4 minutes every 24 hours trying to ask better questions, trying to engage with the world, and trying to teach these young people to do the same.
Thank you very much, sir. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure.